to the panel that we have with us this evening. As I mentioned, Julia Manchester is with us, Joseph Moreno, a former US federal prosecutor, and also Barry Donadio, a former Secret Service agent. Barry, perhaps I should start with you. A lot of praise for the Secret Service this evening. Particularly, they were heavily criticized after that first assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. What are your thoughts on how they operated this evening and their actions?
Well, first and foremost, God bless the United States Secret Service. They saved the president's life today, and they did in Pennsylvania as well. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They detected a threat, they dealt with the threat, and they saved the president's life. And they probably evacuated him, kept him safe. And not only that, they caught the bad guy. So the rest is going to be up to Congress to figure out what happened, the FBI to investigate, and there's going to be a lot to learn coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Joseph, we were hearing from Christian in Florida about some of the evidence that the Secret Service were able to collect from the scene, but it seems like they do have a goldmine now of forensic evidence to take this prosecution forward.
To be a little hesitant to kind of jump to conclusions here. I mean, evidence will trickle out, but this is in the investigative phase right now. So I would only really trust what we're hearing from official reports, not what you see on social media. But yes, I mean, based on what we know, the Secret Service did an excellent job, as well as the Florida deputy that stopped this suspect. And as far as charges, yes, there'll be remember, we have a two-tiered system. We have federal and state charges that are possible here. So some combination of attempted murder, criminal trespass, firearms charges. It will likely be a federal crime primarily. But it doesn't sound like there's going to be difficulty here. I would think that one major issue will be to find out if he was working with anyone. Was this a conspiracy, or was he truly a lone gunman? But again, I would say wait at least a few days before we really know what happened here.
Julia, we've heard from the Trump campaign team, and also his children have quickly gone on Fox News, his boys, talking about their father surviving another assassination attempt. Just take us through the reaction that we've had from Republicans and from Trump supporters in the Trump campaign so far.
Yes, what we've heard from Republicans and those Trump supporters is this condemnation of an uptick in political rhetoric. They say it's coming from the left. They're, particularly blaming the left for calling Trump a threat to democracy, a dictator, but also, talking about the fact that this is a second assassination attempt on his life and how remarkable, obviously in a very negative way, this is. On the other side of this, though, you have Democrats coming out and also saying, the White House saying that, expressing Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's relief that Donald Trump is safe following this assassination attempt, and Kamala Harris saying there is no place for political violence in this country. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking about how he believes, how he hopes that this suspect is prosecuted, to the utmost, as much as he possibly can under the law. So there's certainly, a lot of politics at play here, and oftentimes we hear after, any incident like this involving political violence, but particularly after that first assassination attempt against Trump just over, a month ago or roughly 2 months ago, this call for a tone down of political rhetoric or a toning down of that rhetoric. Those calls only lasted for a few days. And I think part of that is because we're in a polarized environment here in this country, but we are just so incredibly close to an election. So who knows, what this conversation surrounding this assassination attempt against Trump will look like in the context of the campaign trail going forward.
Barry, can we come back to you, because we're going to be mulling over this for some time as we see pictures of the evidence that has been produced by the sheriff. But I want to get your insights into the actions of that one Secret Service agent. He's ahead of Donald Trump. He's scanning the bushes, scanning the golf course, and he sees that AK-47 poking up out of a bush. How remarkable is that moment that he managed to spot that? I mean, how difficult is that to be that alert and that conscious of what's in your sightline and what's going on?
Right, that's a life-changing event for the agent as well as the former President Donald Trump. the agent doesn't have much time to deal with a rifle pointed at him. It was probably pointed either in his direction or at other officers or agents. He had to react quickly. So I imagine he didn't even have time to get on the radio. He probably drew his weapon, gave voice commands to the person with the rifle to drop the weapon. When there was non-compliance, he probably fired right away immediately, because that's exactly what I would have done. The president was probably sheltered in an armored location, armored vehicle, or a safe place, and the rest of the agents probably pursued the man with the rifle as well.
Really interesting to get that insight, Barry. Hope you can all stay with us, Julia, Barry and Joseph. We're going to have plenty more to talk about after the break around the world and across the UK. This is BBC.